What's up, everybody? Welcome to System Crafters Live. I'm David Wilson, and we're back again with another live stream, Friday stream, where we get together as a community and talk about whatever topic I've come up with at the last minute, which is always the case. But, you know, we always have a good time, regardless of the fact that things can be a little bit shooting from the hip. I don't know what happened to my org present config, but all of a sudden, hold on, require DW present. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, there we go. Cool. We got it working. Blink off. Cool. Great. I fixed it. Now the stream can be presented. So let me say hello to the folks who are here so far. I see over on the YouTube side, Mark Rohrer. I'm sorry. DJ Cthulhu, Pablo, Valentino. On the IRC side, I see Glenneth, Redacted, Cow, Pie the Sailor, Alejandro, Summer, Talos, CryptK. Nice to see you. Thanks so much for being here today. Appreciate it. Hello to Willem Boss over on the YouTube side, and Lee Noah. So for those of you who don't know and who might be interested, we do have live chat in the IRC channel, System Crafters Live on Libra Chat. This is a new thing I started doing a few weeks ago. Mainly because I wanted the way to sort of like have our own more self-contained place. And the chat that you see on the screen right now is coming from IRC. The Twitch integration is not working at the moment. I still haven't gotten back to look at that. But if you want to see your name on the screen, definitely join up to the IRC chat. If you want to do that in an easy way, go to systemcrafters.net/live. And there is an embed of the stream and the chat. Preparing your stream. Oh, okay. Is that like an ad? It's an ad. It's an ad for Twitch on Twitch. That seems really relevant. Anyway, you can put your name in here and it will just send you straight to the IRC through the webpage, so you don't actually have to use an IRC client. But anyway, the point being, there's a different way to interact with the stream if you want to. You don't have to. It's just a thing you could do. Jacob, or Jakob, I don't know. I'm sorry I didn't reply to your comments. I saw your many comments about this. I used Sway and Waybar. And if you go to my configuration repo on GitHub, github.com/davidwill/.files, there's a branch called Geeks Home. I need to merge that back to master. Haven't done it yet. You go there, then you can find those configuration files. So sorry for the lack of response. Summer says, hi, Davey. Yeah, don't call me that. I'm not a Davey. Summer says, guys, I found something out. That is David's desktop. It's not just a thing he puts on for show. He has no icons. Yeah, I don't have any icons. Like what you're seeing right now, aside from like the big text for the slides, this is what I look at every day. Slightly different background, but it's the same. I didn't realize that was going to be like a huge surprise to people, but apparently it is. This is not a game here. I'm not just like pretending to use minimal window managers and craft my own configuration. This is the lifestyle. This is the life I live. Somebody please help me. Just kidding. Okay. Jeff says, Texinfo for the win. Alejandro says, still no chatbot. Yeah, I need to go back and look into that. I think something's wrong with Twitch on the IRC side. I just need to try to connect to it and see what's going on. Hello to Dean and to Peter over in the IRC and to Fade. Let's see. Summer says, I'm sober. I promise totally now. I don't believe you. I saw the conversation from before. All right, so checking out. Let's see. Hello to Eric. Nice to see you. And Mjolnir. Icons. We don't need no stinking icons. That's right. That's right. We don't need no icons. Pablo says, you're cheerful today, man. Yeah, that's the effect of sugar. I'm drinking the Sprite. It kind of has sugar in it, so I think it's giving me a little boost. Okay. DJ Cthulhu says, icons, how Windows XP? Yeah, I agree with that. Peter says still on Asperlik's window manager. I don't know. I don't know what that translates to. Hello to Pekka. Sugar or corn syrup? Yeah, that's true. It is probably corn syrup. In Greece, I don't think they use corn syrup quite as much, but it could be the case they're using corn syrup. If I could read the ingredients, it would probably help. Hello to Bionic Babblefish and Ashraz and Bill. Lots of folks rolling in now. Sugar and spice and everything nice. These are the ingredients to create the Powerpuff Girls. That's not what we're doing here, okay? We're not crafting cartoon superheroes in this channel, as far as I know. All right, so the news for the day. Not really much news for the day. I did want to mention that the hands-on Guile Scheme for Beginners course is a little over a week away for the people who've signed up for it. I've received a bunch of emails with people's sort of availability times, and you know, it's sort of swaying towards Sunday, I think, or every Sunday for the 4 weeks. So I'm gonna send out an email probably on Monday to finalize the weekly meeting time for that. I'm really excited. I've been writing the material, at least for the first week of the course, and I kind of like the way that it's going. I'm hoping that it will work because I think it's a good way to sort of unfold the information. So we should have a good time. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. If this is the first time you've heard about it, you can check out this link on systemcrafters.net/courses/hands-on Guile Scheme beginners. It's basically a 4-week course that I'm doing to teach basically teach how to write practical programs in Guile Scheme, but with a slant towards people who haven't written Scheme before or even programming beginners. So that class is already full. It's already booked. So the next iteration will happen in March or April. If you're interested in checking out the next iteration, sign up for the newsletter, or you can just email me directly and let me know. Some people have been emailing me and let me know that that they want to join the next time. So I'll definitely be in contact with the folks who have contacted me. DJ Cthulhu brings up something useful, something notable. That's right. That's the right word for today. Notable in the chat is which is Sasha Chua has started streaming again. She streamed last weekend. I joined for a minute there. It was fun. She has another one scheduled for Sunday. YouTube Sasha Chua. I believe it's on her YouTube channel. Let's see. Yep, there's one coming up this weekend. So check out. All right, so that's the link to that in case you want to subscribe to her channel and check it out. She's talking, you know, exclusively about Emacs, obviously. So definitely worth checking out her streams. Let's see. And everybody's giving high praise for Sacha in the chat. Obviously, recommended. Mjolnir says that Gavin Freeborn has a video on Emacs today. I didn't know about that. Oh. YouTube Gavin Freeborn. Ah. Cool. I'll drop a link to Gavin's video here. Gavin Freeborn has a new video out about Emacs. Thank you to the people who are suggesting things, because I've been kind of tuned out this week. I've been busy on a number of fronts and haven't been really following the news. All right. Mjolnir says, yeah, Gavin do be hot. Okay, because Summer's saying things. Look, people, let's not be thirsting over people here. We're trying to talk about, really attractive technology like Texinfo and things of that nature. So, let's keep the salivation prepared for the actual topic of conversation here. No, it's not going to happen like that, I promise. Let's see. Dean says, whatever happened to Nick's browser? It's still ongoing. They're working on their stuff. Nixed browser. There it is. Yeah, I keep seeing releases being published. I haven't tried it again in a while, but definitely if you want a kind of a modern hacker's browser written in Common Lisp, configurable in Common Lisp, definitely check it out. I haven't gotten back to it yet. Obviously, I'm still using Firefox. Okie dokie, let's get into it. So today, what I want to do is take a look at the Texinfo. Now, I'm sure that you're reading the letters on this screen and you're saying, why is it not Texinfo? Well, because this I think derives from Tech, which is a typesetting system. Tech typesetting system, there we go. Created by Donald Knuth. And it actually is supposed to be pronounced like Greek letters, I think. And the X is actually a he, which is like a sound, like tech. But you can just call it tech. So anyway, point being, tech is a typesetting system, which was created for, I guess, typesetting academic papers and mathematical papers and things of that nature. And the Texinfo system, I think, uses some of the tech stuff in it, right? I don't know. Let's see what the manual says. Point being, this is the official documentation format of the GNU project. It's used by other projects as well, but what you'll see is that many GNU projects use this format. The nice thing about the format is that you can create info files, which get loaded as manuals in Emacs. So I thought it would be kind of interesting to talk about this format and the tools that you can use to generate documentation files, manuals, books, etc. in various different formats, because it might be something that you could use for your projects. There's also an org mode export backend, publish backend for Texinfo, which means you can write an org mode file and then have that generate a Texinfo file, and then from that generate the other formats like HTML, PDF, EPUB, info, and others. So I think it's worthwhile to check it out. I'm actually planning to use it for producing some of the files for the course that I'm working on, and maybe even for books later. We'll see. That there's a few nice things about it that I think are useful that I want to kind of get into the details on. But if you go look at any manual, like let's say the GNU Geeks manual, and look at the website for that, or even the PDF file or the info file, any of that stuff, you'll see effectively what a manual written with Texinfo looks like. They're very well organized. They have chapters and sections. They often have an index for the various topics that are discussed, which is useful, like a concept index or a programming index, which can be super useful if you're talking about development library, programming libraries, etc., because you can have all of your symbols here and what sections they're referenced in. So it can be really useful for creating manuals for programming languages, programming libraries, and tools, that sort of thing. So definitely worthwhile to check this out if you are trying to write some manuals or books, etc. And the whole system, the Texinfo system, is very configurable. So if you don't like the way that it looks whenever you export like an HTML page, you can customize all that stuff. You can make it look however you want. So it does give you the ability to craft the output of your book or manual, etc. Peter says, tech is an underrated evergreen tech. Yes, it is. It never disappears. I feel like it's like the main format that people who are writing academic papers are using. Right. Pablo says, LaTeX was built by Leslie Lamport on top of Tech and is extensively used for writing scientific documents. Yes. I mean, if you look at many papers that have been published, or even resumes of people who, went to postgraduate programs, etc., you'll often see that very familiar Tech font. Hey, Dave. Fade says, Tech is pretty much the only way to typeset math. Well, it definitely definitely the only way to typeset it and have it look good. All right. Glenn says, I write a lot of my documentation in LaTeX. Yeah, I saw you talking about that. And Jeff says, I write most of my docs for clients in LaTeX. That sounds cool. Ashra says, if I had to use Word for my thesis, I would have just dropped out instead. Yeah, because if you try to move like one character or one image just a little bit, it just destroys the entire formatting of the document. Because MS Word and Google Docs are just plain dumb. Yeah, I mean, I really don't understand how people can use tools like that on a daily basis and not pull their hair out. Having a tool that isn't you write the content in a text format and then you can generate other formats from it is the way to go. Like if you're having to go into a graphical program and fight with the formatting because you have no control over the underlying representation of the document you're writing, then you're just pulling your hair out for nothing, in my opinion. That's always me, you know. I'm always going on about text-based formats because that's the only way you can be free, I think, in the end, is to have a format that you can actually fully see and control and not like some binary blob that you have to pray that the vendor has provided you with the format for that, or that someone has cracked it and knows how to handle it. Borussia says, what about exporting org files to Texinfo? We're going to talk about that. At least we're going to try to. We'll see. All right. So we're all on the same page now. We know what we're doing. Cool. Let's go. First of all, let's take a look at the manual. And, you know, let's not do it this way. Can I get it here? Info. There we go. Let's look at it here because I don't want to be blinded the whole time. So the first thing you want to read in any manual, anytime, is what your rights are for copying the manual. Just kidding. I mean, it's obviously good to have the free software documentation. What is it? I don't remember the acronym for it. But anyway, they have a GPL-like license for documentation, which is good to have. Texinfo in brief. Documentation system that uses a single source file to produce both online information and printed output. Now, some of this terminology, I think, is kind of old. Online information, I do not think means on the internet. I think it means information on the computer that's sort of interactive. Some of this stuff is, you know, been around for a while. Dave says GFDL, thank you. Let's see, using Texinfo, you can create a printed document in PDF or PostScript format, including chapter sections, cross-references, and indices. You know, you can't do a lot of this stuff very easily with org mode alone or with Markdown alone. You can sort of. There's tools you can use for processing all this stuff, but the syntax, the things that Texinfo provides, I think makes it a lot easier to cross-reference things in your documents. Like I was saying before, create indices for the information. I think that's one of the places where it really shines. To create a full book where you don't have to go manually update your index or chapter listing or whatever. It can just do all that for you. Dave says, geeks, goblins, hoot, etc. all post-process the HTML export to make it less horrible. Yeah. Okay. So he says, I like writing Texinfo well enough, but dang, doesn't need modernizing the HTML export in particular. Yeah, definitely post-processing that would probably be useful. Or like, yeah, you probably just need to post-process it. Okay, so a Texinfo source file is a plain text file containing text interspersed with commands, words preceded by an that tell the Texinfo processors what to do. You'll see a lot of that something in these document formats. Almost entirely semantic, that is, they specify the intended meaning of text in the document rather than physical formatting instructions, which is nice because you don't want to have a bunch of formatting gunk inside the document. You can kind of liken that to HTML, but HTML, you could put a lot of formatting gunk in there, but if you're doing it the right way, you just give elements like a class or something so that styles can be applied to those, but maybe it's not exactly the same. I'm no expert in Texinfo. In fact, I haven't looked at it too much. The only time I've really manually edited Texinfo is when I had to make changes to the Geeks manual for something I was working on. So I'm kind of coming at this from fresh eyes as well. Dave says, Guile has a Texinfo parser. It doesn't support everything, but it's a path to using Texinfo and having complete control over the export. That's cool. I know that Andy Wingo, Guile present, we ran across this last week. But basically, there's the Guile present library that actually can take Texinfo files and create nice looking slides. I mean, they're nice enough looking. I was looking at the docs for this maybe last weekend. Pretty easy to use. So it's, you know, since it's a text format, you can do a lot of stuff with it. Talo says, how does is-tech compare to something like Markdown? It doesn't look as clean from like an organization perspective, in my opinion, but I think it's because you need the additional syntax of tech to do some of the things that it's capable of doing, but I could be wrong about that. All right, so Emacs has a Texinfo mode that provides various Texinfo related features. We'll have to check that out too. Devised specifically for the purpose of writing software documentation and manuals. If you want to write a good manual for your program, Texinfo has many features we hope will make your job easier. But it's not intended to be a general purpose formatting program. If you're writing, you know, manuals and books related to technical stuff, I think it's going to be useful. Spell Texinfo with a capital T. This first syllable is pronounced like spec, not hex. The odd pronunciation is derived from the pronunciation of tech. Pronounced tex, tech is as if the X were the last sound in the name Bach. Okay, so there you go. There's your explanation. Cool. Overview of these supported output formats. We're going to look at some code in a second. You can make info files, which obviously can be read in Emacs. Plain text files, that's cool. HTML, which makes sense. DVI, device independent binary format. Does anything use that? PostScript, which is also kind of old. Maybe printers still use that. PDF, DocBook, which is relatively common. DocBook. I think, don't the O'Reilly books use this? Yeah, I think O'Reilly books are written with DocBook format. So you can export a DocBook from a Texinfo manual, which makes sense because there's a lot of GNU manuals that are published by O'Reilly, or at least things that are GNU adjacent maybe. And I think that they needed to have DocBook output for that. And XML. If you want to read an XML manual, there you go. I'm guessing that's for, you know, processing it somehow. Jacob says, DVI was required for thesis papers circa 2002 at my university. That's horrifying. All right. Let's go back. Now I have to remember the keys for this mode. Control, no. Info back. Okay, Control O. Cool. What is an info file? As mentioned above, the info format is mostly a plain text transliteration of the Texinfo source. Okay, so that's not helping us because we want to look at what Texinfo looks like. Okay. Generally, you enter an info file through a node that by convention is named top. Contains a brief summary of the file's purpose, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we don't really need that just yet. Characteristics of a printed book or manual. Can be formatted, typeset as a printed book or manual. You need tech to do this. It's not a part of the Texinfo distribution. Okay, so probably I need to install that. And I think that the package for that on Geeks can be quite large. I don't know what the minimal version of that is. I think I may have seen Cal talking about that in the IRC last week. All right. Texinfo-based book is similar to any other typeset. It can have a title page, copyright page, table of contents, preface. Could I upscale the font size? Default font scale. Scale, text scale. Text scale, increase. Boom. Is that better? Very powerful, has many features because a Texinfo file must be able to present information both in a character-only terminal. Formatting commands are limited. Okay. All right, let's go. Adding output formats. Okay, we don't really need to go through that. Writing a Texinfo file. Cool, let's get into it. General rules for writing a Texinfo file. All right, so you can escape the @ character. I don't know what the right name for that is. You can do 2 of them to escape the character if it shows up in the document. Yeah, we get all that. White space following an @ command name is optional and usually ignored. 3 hyphens in a row is used for punctuation in sentences. 2 hyphens to produce a medium dash. Oh, it's a long dash. Okay, so you can do these dashes if you want to. Don't use tab characters. What kind of savage uses tab characters? Just kidding. Texinfo mode in GNU Emacs inserts multiple spaces when you press the tab key. Okay. Cool. Thanks, Cal. You need the packages TechLive Scheme Small and TechLive Texinfo. Excellent. Thank you. TechLive is enormous and it takes forever to install. I was trying to avoid that. Okay. Writing comments. I want to see a file. Short sample Texinfo file. Okay, let's just grab all this and put it into a file. So if I go to projects, my manual dot, is it tech? What is the file format for this? Or the my manual.tech. Let's just call it that. I don't really know. Oh, this is LaTeX. Texinfo mode. Find library. Let's just do a little bit of. Okay, thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Jeff. All right, let's fix that. I was gonna go just look in here. Texinfo. Probably could have found it if I wanted to. Let's get all this initial spacing out. I don't know why I had to copy it like that. Here we go. Okay, I'll go here. Rename to my manual.texinfo. There we go. Okay. So we can see that we do have some highlighting for the stuff that is in here. This manual is for GNU sample version, value updated. So it looks like we already have some concept of like a variable or some piece of information that could be changed. I don't see that mentioned anywhere in the document so far, so I'm guessing that means that that variable can be set on the command line somehow, which would be nice. We have a copyright signifier here, copying. I guess that means it's like a copying section. We'll have to take a look at what all that is for. Makeinfo programs transforms a Texinfo source file such as this into an info file or HTML, and tech typesets it into a printed manual. Cool. So you don't need to use tech until you want to turn it to a printed manual. Cool. So yeah, you could put an info file or HTML just by itself, which is great. So what I'll try to do is run compile. Geek shell. Texinfo. Make info. Is that what it was? Okay. Let me drop that in the show notes. Geeks shell Texinfo, and the manual told me it said make info. Okay, let's just go into vterm for a second, play around with this. So geeks shell Texinfo. All right, make info help. A lot of command line arguments. Translate Texinfo source documentation to various other formats. By default, info files suitable for reading online with Emacs or standalone GNU info. Okay. Program is commonly installed as both makeinfo and TechI to any. The behavior is identical. It does not depend on the installed name. Just sort of going to cruise through these. So output format selection. You can even put EPUB3 here, which is cool. LaTeX, Texinfo XML. Excuse me. I should have put that in another folder, I think, just so we have some. Let's go to my manual. Yes. All right, so I'm just gonna grab all this and move it in here. Okay, so this is where I'm at. Great. So if I go into that cd my manual, whoa. Okay. All right, so make info my manual. What does it do if I don't give it any parameters? Undefined flag version, undefined flag updated. All right, what do we have now? Okay, so there's a mymanual.info. I believe there's a way to open an info file in Emacs. Info, what was it? I think I have it in my config somewhere. Info on current buffer. Okay, so check this out. I'll go to the mymanual.info file. Oh, okay. So I think that is not normal behavior. I think my config actually does that. So I added this in my config. I'll put that in the show notes. I've done this some time ago. So if you just add a hook to the auto mode A list for the info format and run info on current buffer, then it will just automatically pull up your manual like this. I don't know if I can use gr. Is that reload? Info reload? Probably not. But just from that sample file alone, we already have a menu with the first chapter and the index. The index does have a couple of entries. So this is a starting point. We can actually use this to try to experiment and see what we can put into a book. Alejandro says, you arrow your. Not sure. All right. So sample manual 1.0 info. Okay, Jeff has a nice thing in the chat. Control U, Control H will ask you for a file to load as an info file. Oh, is that right? Thank you. Thank you, Alejandro and Ashras. Yeah, it's not working for me. Probably because I have weird key bindings. Let me actually Control U, Control H. Still not working for me. Oh, yes, thank you. Control U, Control H, I. Great. Control U, Control H, I. Boom. Info file name. Excellent. Thank you, Jeff. Whoa. There we go. Now, alternatively, these fonts are so jacked up. Key binding. And what is that? Control H, K, Control U, Control H, I. A Control U, Control H. No. Control H, Control K, Control U, Control H, I. Dude. What is happening? Control H, K, U, H. Where are you going? Control H, K, Control U, Control. Okay, that's not working. Yes, yes. Thank you, chat. I see. I'm trying to figure out what the command that this is bound to. Never mind. To be prompted for an info file to load. Summer says, I'm glad to see he gets lost too sometimes. I don't feel so inferior when I see David Will is lost. Yeah, well, you know, sometimes the keys that you expect to do something don't work. Control U, meta X info. Ah, that works too. Control U, meta X info. Cool. Nice. Okay. Back to the file. So let's take a look at what we have in the file. Oh, whoa. Wrong info. Yes. So we're at the top. No, we're not at the top. We're in the index. Go to top. There we go. GNU sample. This manual is for GNU sample. I want to see where all this text is coming from in the original document. So Texinfo. I see set title, sample manual, but that's not what the title actually is. The top is what that GNU sample is coming from. So system crafters IRC manual. Who knows? I'm just making something up right now. There's a title page. I don't think the title page is being used here though, unless it's not in directory, because directory is all the list of files. So I would go back and open the info file again. We need to rerun that obviously for it to show up. But if I were to do that, now that I have the command line I need, so I'll run it into compile, geeks shell techinfo make info my man. Come on now, I don't want the geeks REPL. I hate how it does that with the tab completion. I know why it does that. I just don't like it. Geeks shell techinfo make info my manual.techinfo. All right, so we updated it. I can go reopen this file, and now System Crafter's IRC manual shows up. Cool, good to go. System Crafter's secret diary, says Ashraz. I don't know. In paren says Emacs is trying to tell you to give up the Vim bindings. Yeah, I know. What can I say? I would love to get done using Vim key bindings, but I'm so like acclimated to it that I just can't stop myself anymore. Chomky Seal says, Geeks, one of my favorite communities of developers. Really pleasant to work with. You know, it's funny because I can't tell if that's sarcasm or not. I'm guessing it's not. Summer says, even I don't use evil keys. Well, we're not saying that you should use evil keys. I'm just saying that, you know, sometimes we have a little bit of trouble. I just don't like Control N, Control P, and that whole thing. It just feels like I'm stretching my fingers out too much just to go up and down all day. Maybe that's not the right thing. Okay, yeah. Chomky Seal says, it's not. Ludovic, I think that's Tobias, and generally others are really nice people. Yeah, they are. Indeed. Ashra says, you have arrow keys. Look what happens whenever I press my arrow keys. In the echo area, it says arrow keys are bad, you know? I don't like using arrow keys. I want to use the home row. I don't want to move my hand from the home row. I just want to sit my hands on the keyboard and just move around like a ninja. Like a slippery ninja. No innuendos, please. All right. So, Redacted says, are Vim key bindings so bad? They're maybe worth it for RSI reasons. Well, no, they're not bad. I prefer the sort of the basics of the Vim model. Zoli says, ever tried God mode? Yeah, I tried it for a while. It's all right. But I think that evil mode just does some things for me that make it a bit easier. All right, let me continue moving here. So the copyright text, did we see that anywhere? No. So I think that the copyright text, some of this stuff is probably coming out whenever you try to export it as a book. Let's export as HTML also, just for the sake of comparison. So make info, I'm guessing it's just --HTML. Okay. Some examples here, which is very nice and useful. Texi apparently is another file extension you can use for Texinfo. Texinfo. So make info HTML HEML. Okay. My manual.techinfo. All right. So now it must have produced an HTML file, actually a whole folder. I wonder if I could do the single file. Yeah, no split. No split. Suppress any splitting of the output, generate only one output file. I wonder if that's how you make one of those combined HTML files. I prefer that a little bit because it's better. It's easier to search. No split. There it is. All right, so HTTPD serve directory. Let's serve the current directory. Localhost 8080 mymanual.html. Boom. Wow, that's so bright. So we get all the same kind of output. We have the same kind of section headings, etc., chapters. Still don't see any of that metadata for the document. Let's also check out this one. I want to see what this one looks like. Not found. Is that right? Oh, underscore HTML. There it is. Okay, so this does have separate pages for things. It's expecting a everything to be in a root path though, which is fun. Ashra says .techie is not within the auto-mode A list though, so you would have to add this. Okay, good point. Very good point. All right. So, cool. We've seen info. Thanks, Ashraz, for repeating that. So anyway, the info file. No, we don't want the info file. Why is his prompt a lambda? Is there some reason for that? Just to make you ask questions. That's why. No, because a lambda is like, it's cool looking, right? You're not a real hacker unless you have a lambda for your prompt. I'm just kidding. So all this title page stuff must be coming in the actual typesetting for a book output. Copyright as well. I'm not seeing some of that unless some of these things are coming from a parameter. Jeff says, uh-oh, not a real hacker. Yes, well, $ obviously is what real hackers use, because real hackers don't change the defaults. They just use whatever the default settings are in any program, no matter how much it blinds everyone. Benoit says, such elitism. Yes, that's me. I'm such an elitist. Okay. This manual is for GNU sample. All right, let's just go back. I want to just take a look. Okay, GNU sample version, blah, blah, blah. Let's take a look at the command line parameters as well. I think we should be able to feed those values in. Define the variable var as with @set. So if I use -d var val version. Okay, so make info. No, let's not do HTML again. I don't want to be blinded. My manual.techinfo. I need to do -d version 6.6.6. There we go. Okay, so I think that one got updated correctly. Let's go back into our info file. There's probably not a way to, well, let's see, revert buffer. Does that work? Hey, it works. Cool. All right, so the version does show up. So that's how you can set values. And what did it say? Updated, right? D. Updated Jan 26, 2024. I guess that works. Go back, revert buffer. Yes. Okay, cool. That works. Auto revert mode. So I have auto revert mode on. It just doesn't work for this. Trev says David should create a desktop icon for Emacs like Summer Emacs has. No thanks. Fade says, what are icons, precious? Smeagol doesn't know what an icon is. So let's add some stuff to this file, okay? We've got it sort of dialed in a little bit here. In fact, let's copy this line. I'll go drop it into the show notes as an example. Generating tech info output files. Let's take my elitist lambda out of there. Okay. I'm so dismissive. You know, I'm trying to run a stream here, so I have to at least be somewhat entertaining. So I have to be a little bit, you know, snappy. Okay, manuals for GNU sample. For people, no, it's for System Crafters IRC version. Some okay, so this is like the version of the program. So the IRC version is 666. Summer says, sorry. No, don't be sorry. I'm just joking around. We're just joking around here. It's Friday. We're having fun, you know? This is fun for me. I got, 60 people yelling at me in the chat. It's all good. So first chapter. So we do have a syntax here. And I think the syntax is meaningful. So we see that there is a star and then first chapter capitalized, colon, and then we have some information here. I'm pressing tab. It doesn't tab it the way that I would expect it to, which is a little bit funny. Whoa. But it seems that this syntax is meaningful. Let's check the info manual for Texinfo and see if we can determine what that's all about. So contents, how to create a table of contents. Let's just take a look at that real quick. I don't see context. I see C and contents right here. It's a single line, and I'm guessing it means just to insert the contents here. Generates a table of contents in a printed manual, including all chapters, sections, subsections, blah, 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 as well as appendices, unnumbered chapters. Okay. Short or summary table of contents that lists only the... Okay. Alejandro says, I am not yelling at you. I know you would never yell at me, Alejandro. You're nothing but helpful. Both content commands should be written on a line by themselves and placed near the beginning of the file. Okay. Cool. So that, just put at contents, and wherever you put it is where the content shows up. Makes sense. Minimum, what a Texinfo file must have. You need to have /input Texinfo. I'm guessing that's a LaTeX thing. You have /input sort of like as a command to LaTeX. So that must be why that's the case. The contents of this file follow this beginning. You must end the Texinfo source with a line like this at by. The by line at the end of the file tells the formatters that the file is ended and to stop formatting. Okay. You'll be dumped at text prompt at the end of the run if you don't put that there. So it's necessary syntax. Furthermore, you will usually provide a Texinfo file with a title, page, indices, and the like, all of which are explained in this manual. But the minimum, just for short documents, is just the 2 lines at the beginning and 1 line at the end. Okay, so if you just want to have a little bit of text, you can do that, but it's kind of beside the point. Okay, the header. So tells Tech to use the texinfo.tech file, which tells Tech how to translate the Texinfo at commands into Tech typesetting commands. How many times can we say Tech in one sentence? All right. Set title specifies a title for page headers or footers. Okay, so that's actually like, if you've ever seen like maybe we can do a PDF file. It may not work though without all that extra stuff in there. I need to go find that line that Cal had pasted. I may need to add those in. Where was that? Man, there's a lot of chat. That's good stuff. Oh, crap. Tech info. Where is it? Scrolling is not working. There it is. Okay. So let me change my shell. I'm going to add, what is it? A Tech Live scheme small and Tech Live tech info. Let's see how long this takes. I don't exactly know how long this is going to take. I think these will help for generating a PDF. I want to see what the PDF looks like because it may have this header in the actual output. Go to the bottom of the buffer. Here we go. I wonder, I didn't catch it while it was happening, but I wonder if my chat display is having issues with arrows or angle brackets. Is that what they're called? Pablo says, I want to see the PDF too and wonder what info goes to its metadata. Yeah. Peter says, is that you can add raw tech instructions with / similar to how you can add raw HTML to Markdown? Probably so, yes. I believe so. How did I know this and David will not know this? I don't know what we're talking about. Are you talking about the actual encoding characters for angle brackets in HTML? Yes, this is exactly the kind of thing that I was hoping to avoid. Look at all these packages being installed. I think this is a lot of like plugins for Tech Live and maybe fonts, etc. So it's a lot of stuff that Geeks is trying to install right now. But hopefully it will be finished soon. Yeah, Tech Live is enormous. It is very enormous, and apparently this is the minimal version. The real full version is much bigger. Do I have enough hard drive space left for this? 17 gigabytes. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, it's not so big, but you know, it feels kind of big. Ashra says, there's sanitation for the chat. You just found that it's injectable. Don't break it, please. Oh, no. Yes. This is what happens whenever you write your own bespoke tools. Are you going to make me turn the chat off? I can just hide it. Peter says 17 gigabytes should be fine. It's not COD or CS2 or something. If it was COD, it would be 500 gigabytes probably. Lydell says, I love Emacs. Yes, Emacs is great. All right, this is taking too long. Let's continue checking some things out while we're waiting. It makes sense to include any command that affects document formatting as a whole in the header. Drop table users. There's no database hooked up here. It's just some plain old stuff. It's isolated. It's inside of, yeah, like the HRs are working. This is terrible. I'm being hacked in the middle of the stream. First line of a Texinfo file, start of header. Formatting a region requires this. Okay. Yeah, we saw this like 5 times already. We don't need to see that anymore. This may be useful when Emacs doesn't detect the file. Okay, we're talking about this little thing here. Whatever. Start of header. Doesn't look relevant. Set file name, info file name. Doesn't really look too relevant. Set title. Should precede everything that generates actual output. Well, at least nobody can click that link because it's it's inside. It's inside. Oh, God. You're going to make me turn this off, aren't you? This is just going to hell. You know, what we'll do is that, you know, for all you people who want to, you know, become a $5 a month sponsor, you can use HTML tags in your stream chat, but the rest of you can't. Bandit Healer says, if I need to get David's attention, I don't really see it. It's not on my screen. It's only on the output of the live, whatever. Ryan says, worth it. Ashra says, where's the repo? We'll fix it. Go to codeberg.org/systemcrafter/livecrafter. That's the one. Nobody's watching what I'm talking about. We're just watching the chat now. All right, so in the HTML file produced by MakeInfo, title serves as the document title. Okay, that makes sense. Also becomes the default document description in the head part. I do want to do that, though. I want to have there be some benefits to the chat, you know, some cool things that people can do. Maybe some people can make bigger text or more flashy text or things of that nature. If people have thoughts on that, please let me know, because I'm planning to do something pretty soon about all that. I think it can make the streams a little bit more fun if there's like kind of some stuff happening. Ashraz, don't be giving people ideas, dude. Yes, do not give people ideas. Oh God, Jeff, don't do that. Who's gonna throw the marquee out? Does that work anymore? Damn. This is just an atrocity. My whole stream is ruined. All right. You are gonna make me turn this off now, because it could go further, and we're not gonna want to see where things could go. When I see things settle down, I'll turn it back on. All right, let's focus here. Let's focus up. End of header. Okay, this is all well and good, but I think it's kind of boring. The giant toilet. Yes, isn't that emblematic of the situation right now? I turned it off before Summer could put her face in it. Charlie says, all this hootenanny has been filtered from the YouTube comments. Yeah, because it's all happening on IRC. Am I disappointed? I'm not disappointed. I'm actually, I'm thrilled that the chat is having fun breaking the stream. But, you know, it has to come to a stop at some point. Document permissions. Ensuring your manual is free. That's not really a concern at the moment. First lines, title page, copyright page, creating the title and copyright pages. Okay, do we have that in our document? Nope, not that. Let's pull this up by the side. Title page, sample title, okay. Printed it on the back of the title page. Benoit says, this is a learning opportunity for everyone. Yes, come learn HTML by hacking the System Crafters live chat. Great. Okay, that's finished now. Can we run make info? Jeff says, we need to write a pipeline on Codeberg that takes a Texinfo file and turns it into the System Crafters website. No way, no way. It's crazy enough that I'm using Emacs to publish the entire website from org files. I'm kind of like stretching the limits of everything by doing that. But honestly, it's working pretty well, and I don't really want to change it. So I'm not going to rewrite it to be Texinfo. Now, sections of the site could certainly be Texinfo if it's like a guide that I want it to be in more of a structured format. Certainly. It would be crazy if I hosted the page on Emacs. Yeah, it would be crazy. I mean, if I have an Nginx front end that could take all of the traffic from the internet and it could restart the Emacs instance when it inevitably crashes whenever it's trying to, you know, pretend to be a web server, maybe it could work, but I don't think it's a good idea. Make info, what is this, --PDF? Yep, make info --PDF, my manual. Ow, I can't actually tab complete. My manual. Don't make me type. Manual.texinfo. Thank you. Oh, no wonder it didn't work because I'm not in the right folder. My manual. Is it good or bad? What happened? Is there a file? There's a file. Hey, it looks very classic. Sample title. Okay, so sample title did show up there. Can I? No. Do I have Zathura? We need a real program for this. There we go. That's better. Sample title. Can I zoom out too? All right, cool. This is a short example of a complete Texinfo file. Cool. That looks kind of nice, right? Needs a little bit of tweaking. And the table of contents, which looks pretty nice. First chapter, section, index. Is it clickable? No, that's okay. Probably not meant to be. Probably just be printed. Fate says, I mean, people run very large websites on Python and Ruby. Well, yeah, that is more conceivable than running it on Emacs. Emacs Lisp is at least as fast as Python? I don't know. Is it? That would be pitiful if that was the case. Cal says, the successful PDF compilation looks like an error message. Yeah, I was very confused by that. What is the deal? Let's go back and take a look at that output. This is what happens whenever you have programmers writing program output. It just looks like something that a computer would read, which may actually be the case, but still, like, no person can look at this output and be like, okay, this was successful. Yeah, I'm really sure that this went well. Okay, output written on mymanual.pdf, that one's fine. But when I see the last line is a log file, it makes me think, something didn't go so well here. That's a great log. What's that about? Is that what the actual tech content is for the PDF or something? Anyway. Echo question or dollar question mark. Yeah, it's probably 0. Yeah. For sure. Summer says, what he did in 1 hour of Texinfo, I can do in 20 seconds in org mode. Well, you can also export org mode to Texinfo. Whoa, what happened to the stream? Okay, we're still live. That's good. Result is result today in the wild. Remove after debugging. Yes, I have so many of these kinds of comments. Okay. So let's get back into the manual and see what else is going on. All right, so we saw the title page stuff, right? That did show up. So we know where that goes now. Copyright notice, copying permissions, heading generation. Turn on page headings after the title and copyright pages. Okay, that might be useful for some things. Ouch. In title page command must be written at the beginning of a line by itself. 1 for documents printed on each side of the sheet of paper, and the other for documents printed on both sides of each sheet, double-sided printing. Like for a book, I'm guessing. All right, there's a lot of like fiddly things in here that we don't really need to know right now. So we're just gonna jump back up a little bit. We saw that already. Let's get into the real stuff. Top node and the body of the document. Okay. Here's the thing we were looking for before. Top node is the node in which a reader enters an info manual. As such, it should contain a very brief description of the manual, including the version number. Contents of the top node do not appear in printed output. Let's take a look at another. Well, let's go to the top of this document. How about that? This is what they expect a Texinfo or an info manual top page to look like. This manual is for GNU Texinfo, given the version and the date. Documentation system that can produce blah, blah, blah. The first part of this master menu lists the major modes in this info document. Okay. So that's short and sweet. It's fine. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, Benoit. I saw something fly by. Okay. There's a lot of stuff in here now. Oh, this is because it's the top. All right, write in a Texinfo file, nodes, writing nodes. Top node. So, get out of here. Didn't show up. Okay. Top section command line containing the title of the document immediately after the node top. Let's put this side by side again. All right, so top, we see top. All right, here it is, top, System Crafter's IRC manual. Top section command line. I guess that they consider this a line that is a command, so it sounds a little bit wrong. Helps Makeinfo determine the relationships between nodes. I don't really hate it, it's just that, you know, it takes up too much screen space. I'm referring to Summer's comment that I really hate images, icons, emoji. The thing is, I'm deathly afraid of what the next image is going to be on the screen. So this is why I am being very cautious. Let's see. Repeat the short description. Oh, really? No. Anyway, whatever. The menu section. Menu. First chapter. So you basically have the node headings. Pablo says, Texinfo will forever be related to IRC banter forever in my mind now. Yes. Mulvey just says, David seems pretty disappointed in the chat today. I'm not disappointed. I'm just afraid. I'm very afraid. I am reasonably afraid. Redacted says, we could patch the stream live. Somebody write code in JS to sanitize the chat message. If you could sanitize the messages, I would be very happy, but I don't think we can reload it during the stream. Summer says, a room full of hackers is not something to tempt. Yeah, no. A room full of anyone who can connect to IRC and not be stopped easily. That's the problem. So we have the menu section. I wonder if that actually gets set up as, let's see, my manual. Info menu. Yeah, so we have both of those menu items showing up in the info menu command in Emacs, which is cool. Fate says, I think it's very funny that David will include an HTML parser. I didn't. It's a browser. Like, I'm literally, this is an HTML page that's being rendered with a transparent background over the stream. So if you put HTML in there, it's going to display HTML. So this is my mistake. I thought that, you know, people wouldn't realize that they could use HTML tags. So any stream overlay you see on the internet, on any other person's stream, like all of the nice little animated crap that shows up on the screen while they're, you know, doing stuff, is usually a browser control that has a transparent background that is rendering things in a web page. You would be surprised. Jeff says, just ask ChatGPT to create a filter in JS that we can directly import. Yeah, that is possible. I'm sure it could do that pretty easily. This is the kind of thing that ChatGPT is good for. Things I don't want to have to write myself, and I would otherwise have to just search Stack Overflow. Input filtering is key. Yeah, I'm going to be much more careful now, that's for sure. Unless you pay $5 a month, then you can write whatever you want. Just kidding. Okay, so we see that the menu is here. We see now what the menu is for. It's for displaying a menu of nodes that you can look at. What is this master menu parts? Oh, okay, this is their manual, not mine. Yes, Summer, exactly. I'm very, very worried of anybody posting any kind of weird stuff. Trev says, is chill out, Satan Crafter. I gotta pay homage to the Dark Lord. I'm just kidding. I'm not a Satanist. I'm just having fun. So, master menu is the main menu, customary to include a detailed listing of all the nodes in the document. Okay, that's what we were looking at already. Sorry, folks. This stream is going off the rails. So, let's see. What can we do now? Oh, it indented this for me, which is nice. I don't know if that's a Texinfo thing or if it's just a normal indentation. Brosio says ChatGPT is a devil, shout at the man in a cave. Well, some people are a little afraid of ChatGPT, which I understand. Yes, HR. System Crappers HR is definitely going to crack down. Tech stuff is fun. It's also scary. Okay, so how to join? All right, let's just do that. See you, Summer. Thanks for breaking the stream. You're a bad influence. I will scold you later. Okay, so first chapter, so we're gonna have to change these node names. Now, I'm guessing there's a difference between node and chapter, and they're the same thing. The text could probably be different. My guess is that it's an organizational aspect, and then chapter is the actual chapter heading. So node, how to join. Big Edie, you're probably right. How to join. Let's say chapter first. So C index. We need to figure out what that's about, because that's definitely how we're generating index entries. Benoit, it's in systemcrafters/live-crafter. And it's in the, well, let me just show you. Codeberg.org, systemcrafters, live crafter. It's in the chat.js file. Not much there. It just needs the text that comes through, the message text, needs to be sanitized. And it could probably, it could be sanitized in Scheme, but it probably is going to be easier to just put a regex right here and sanitize it at the level of the JavaScript. So long as there isn't some other way to cause trouble. Yeah, that's the right path. Brosio says, doesn't Node split the output in a granulated way? Yes, I think that's probably the way that it's deciding how to split the pages up. All right, so C-index. Does it say anything about that here? Not yet. Top node, cool. Detail menu, detailed node listing. So there can be a menu and a detailed menu. I'm already losing my voice. Peter says, with regexes, you're trying to avoid trouble with regexes? I don't know. I guess it makes it worse, huh? Don't need a regex, just replace the arrows with less than and greater than, if it's only that. Maybe it is only that. Yeah, encoding the input, for sure. All right. So, we saw that. That's the top node. Let's go up again. The body of the document. Cool. C-index, cool. Contains all the text of the document, and manual is divided into one or more nodes. Example illustrates a chapter made of 3 nodes. A chapter made of 3 nodes. 1 for introductory material and 2 sections. Oh, okay. So those are nodes. Okay, I see. So we have a chapter, and then there's nodes within the chapter. Cool. Concept index for general concepts. So basically, these are the concepts that it links to. And I wonder where that text goes. This is where I'm... Oh. The text is not... The C-index has nothing to do with the text. The text is just part of the document. But that's like saying that there's a... At this location, this concept is being referenced. I think, right? Ashrad's got a good point. Best variant would be to only set the text content attribute, not the inner HTML attribute. Okay, that's better. We're ended up doing a different kind of stream now. We're trying to diagnose my poorly written JavaScript code. Okay. Now that the hacker's gone, we can turn the chat back on. We saw it for a second. Okay. So that explains the C index we see here. All right. This is index entry another. Let's take a look at the info file again. I want to take a look at the index. Index entry another pops right to the first chapter, right? And basically right around here to the numbered list. Enumerations, so you can do a numbered list, and they have items. All right. So that makes sense. The thing that is not necessarily so great about this format is that you have to do these like starting and ending commands. So enumerate, and then we end the enumeration at the end. But that's okay. I mean, it's at least understandable, I think. But I wonder if the Emacs package can tell you when you don't have the section closed correctly, so you don't get confused about what's going on. There's first section and second section. Those are the sub nodes that we saw inside the chapter, so that's useful. So, you know, I can already see how this would translate over from org. If you try to export an org file into Texinfo, you have a chapter, which is like the top level heading in the file, and then the subheadings become their own nodes, that they're their own sections. Is the chat still working on the screen? I can't see. Okay, there it is. Cool, cool, cool. So, now we understand how nodes and sections fit into the picture. DJ Cthulhu says, I reckon the author of Tech was into graph theory. Yes. Hello to Minas Mazar. Silly question, is there a reason why GNU does not switch to the well-known org format for documentation instead of relying on this old format? Probably because they would have to remake all the documentation files that are written with Texinfo over the years. So they're probably just not even thinking about that. But it's easy enough for a person to write an org file and then export Texinfo from it. I don't really know what the quality of it is. You know, one little detour could be useful. Get.sr.ht/protesilaus. Let's check out the denote repo by Prot. So there's a manual. Okay, so he actually wrote a Texie file or Techie file. Oh, is this just the license? Okay, so I think that that's probably being pulled in. Is there an org file? Yes, look at this file. So in Prot's denote readme, you can see that there's a lot of Texinfo metadata stuck to the top here. There's headers, there's descriptions, et cetera, et cetera. So it looks like Prot is generating a Techie file from this readme. So if you want to see an example of what one could look like and then get turned into an actual manual, because if you go look at, you know, info, table of contents, no. Info, what is it? How do you get to the very, very top? Up, dear. Info, dear, directory, okay. Denote is not here. Apparently, it's not showing up. Anyway, point being, there is an info file that's being generated for denote, which is nice. Okay. Chapter structuring. We can take a look at some of these other sections too. Alejandro says, it proves that org mode is better than better meta format. Yeah, well, it's definitely a lot more writable. However, there's a lot of kind of junk in here. What is this? Is that an ID for the heading? Where is that in this file? Okay, that's another link. All right, so you have a heading with a custom ID. I wonder if he's got some code that generates those. I don't know where that comes from. And any links to the front matter have to have this ID so that they can do the proper cross-references in the output file, I'm guessing. It's not so great. I don't know if there's a better way to handle that. There's also some more metadata that have to be added to certain headings, I think. Copying T, custom ID. Yeah, like the index information. I don't know what this F index means. I'm guessing it's because all of these symbols are being mentioned here, so we have to add all of the index entries. So denote signature. Let's see how many times that shows up as an F index. F index. Only twice. What about F index denote date? Okay, maybe it only shows up once. Like that's the canonical place where they're mentioned. I don't know. Fade says, if you were doing this a lot, you'd have snippets and maybe some other templates for it. Yeah, definitely you would need stuff like that. Big Edie says, do you know if there's a good way to take a web page and turn it into an info page that can be turned into an info page to eventually be used as part of the Emacs manual? For example, the org syntax website would be nice to have Emacs itself. I don't think there's a way to automatically do it. I think you would have to go rewrite it. Yes, Cal2001 says F index for function index, C index for concept index. That sounds right. That must be the right thing. Okay. So we've seen what a legitimate org file that gets the exports to info, to Texinfo, and then to an info file looks like. Also to a web page. I think that the denote Emacs denote package. I think this page is actually generated from the manual. because you can see it has the same table of contents, all the structure, yada yada. There's probably an index at the end. Let's see. Gotta get past all the free documentation license stuff. Okay, there does not seem to be an index, but well, okay. This can be generated from org and not necessarily info or tech info. That's possible. Release date. Interesting. Okay, so that's considered a macro. It's like an org thing, I guess. Okay. All right. So, yeah, we've got pretty much nothing written so far. But we do understand now how to add concept index entries, enumerated lists, nodes, subsections. Jeff says he might have turned off generating the index. That's possible. That's definitely possible. And also we say print index CP. Let's do this too. Print index FP. Maybe. And we also want to have a F index hello world. I don't know. Let's see what this does. If I go back to vterm and run this again, I'll run it for the normal info output. Okay, so unknown index FP in print index, menu reference to non-existent node client user. That's good. At least they tell us that we missed something. So we have node how to join, chapter how to join. Eventually, do we end the node? Node. Oh, okay, so we don't even have to like mention. That doesn't seem right, does it? Or is there a way to end a chapter? I mean, the index is here, right? Client to use, okay. Okay, unknown index. I don't think it blocked on that, so let me actually... Man, vterm is not playing nice today. Let's revert buffer on that. It reverted it. Let's go up to top. What's your problem? Top. There it is. I'm not seeing the output though. Maybe it didn't actually output anything. Yeah, there isn't a closed node, just the next node or the next chapter or whatever. Okay, cool. Thank you. No Wayman says you can use MetaX compile. Yes, I was using MetaX compile before, but I had stopped doing it because I was changing the shell. But I'll switch back to that now. So I will use compile. There we go. You see. Exited abnormally. So it told us that we actually have a problem here. So good to go check on the index situation. Info, cross references. Hey, I did not want you to do that. Indices. Predefined indices. F index. Okay, FN. Cool. That must be what it is. So FP, FN. So we have the concept index, the function index, the keystroke index, which is kind of cool if you want to talk about key bindings. Program index for the names of programs, data type index for type names, could be useful. Variable index for variable names, such as library global variables. So there's a few things here that do make sense that you might want to include in your own book, manual, whatever you would like. Let me check on something real quick here. Okay. Nothing critical. Okay, so now if I were to go back to the compile menu, should be able to rerun that and then go back into our info file, revert buffer, yes, cool. So now we see that there is client CUs is showing up. That's cool. So we got that. If we go back to top, it's not happy. We'll go to the index. And then there's another menu here for hello world. Cool. So it does actually pull that up. I wonder if we need to make separate sections for the different types of indices. So there's index. Let's call it this, concept index. I don't know what, oh, okay. Unnumbered. That's interesting. Programming index. To make it sort of like the Geeks manual. Alejandro says there are macros to add those in org mode when exporting to Texinfo. That would be good. All right, let's go back to compile. Non-existent node index. Okay, yeah, we've got to go put that back in the node list. So concept index, programming index. Okay, it's not letting me. There we go. And back into our info file. My manual.info. Here we go. Concept index, programming index. Boom. Okay, so it works. I don't know why it says line 6 though. That doesn't seem right. Maybe it's just the way that I placed it in the document. But, you know, we're making some progress. I don't know. Yeah, it keeps saying line 6. What's that all about? Let's go back to the main file. C index, F index. Maybe that's Y. What if I put it right there? Huh? If it's just above a line, maybe it references the line correctly. And if I go back to the info file, I can revert to buffer again. And then look at the concept index. Oh, okay. That's weird. Don't know why I didn't pick the right section title, node title this time, or the previous time. That's pretty useful, actually. I can already imagine how I would use the concept index for making like a cross-reference document. So if I want to like teach someone scheme, let's say, I would want to write a document that had an index because I want people to be able to go look up a certain concept and find like the original place where it gets explained in the document. Also programming index for certain functions that are referenced the first time can be useful. So I would certainly use that aspect of this. What else can we take a look at in the manual? Info. So that's the different indices. And I'm guessing they all have their own C index, F index, V index, T index, etc. So that's how you would do that. Indexing commands, advanced indexing, index entries. Choose different words for index entries. Excuse me. Let's see. Insertions, breaks. Don't really care too much about that. Describing functions uniformly. Okay, these are kind of cool, actually. So the idea is that you want to have a way to have API documentation inside of your manual. I think that this is getting used in the Geeks manual some. In fact, we can go take a look at that. If I were to go to projects, code, Geeks, where is the, is it in doc? Yeah, geeks.techie. So if you look in this thing, which is quite huge, it's 47,000 lines, which makes sense because it's pretty big. We're looking for defn. Defn. Okay, so procedure, inferior for channels. Channels. This was like the parameter list basically. So the whole line is the type of thing it is, the name of the function, and the arguments. And then the description. All of these things are maybe references to the parameters that are listed here. TTL, cache directory, channels. I'm curious to see what the actual manual looks like for this. So what was this called? Inferior for channels. Here it is right here. So this is what the output looks like. Oh boy. Now Glenn is trying to break the stream. Oh, Glenn just posted a link. Okay, so it's not like embedding the image. So scheme procedure. Okay, so it just italicizes these things. It doesn't really do anything extra, which I think is kind of weird. Why would you go to the trouble of wrapping these names in var? Fine. Oh, and also I want to see what the code snippet looks like. I go up a little bit right here. There's end Lisp. Okay, so at Lisp, is that like a known thing, or is that... Let's paste that into our own manual and see if it comes out. So I'm gonna go to the clients to use section. I'm just gonna drop that in right there. And we'll go compile it. Okay, well, it seems to have worked. And if I go back to the info file, which is not open anymore, and I go to clients to use, okay, so it does actually turn it into a code block, which is cool. I wonder what the output looks like on the HTML side. So if I were to go run compile again and instead use HTML no split, then look at the manual HTML. All right, so it's not fancy. The Geeks manual does some extra stuff, probably in JavaScript, to give you the nice highlighting plus the parent matching. So that's not bad. I mean, it's good that you have some ways to tweak this stuff. If I inspect this, let's see, Lisp pre-formatted, example Lisp, cool. All right, so you can easily set up CSS to highlight example class divs a certain way, and also you have the language put here, so you can key your highlighting logic on the language that's being put. Pre-class Lisp pre-formatted, yeah, cool. Trev says you'd have to be a full-time docs writer to learn this stuff, or you'd have to just be a writer that wants to save yourself some time longer term by using an arcane format to organize your books or documentation. Trev says, I'd rather pump gas. Well, you know, there's probably no jobs for that right now, so you're better off being a doc writer or a programmer. Probably not a programmer, though. Too many weird layoffs. Trev's just joking, folks. Okay. Cool. That was another example to check out. Definitely, if you want to see like a full techie file for a non-trivial program, take a look at geeks.techie in the Geeks repo under the doc folder, and you'll see some stuff. Oh, this is not it, though. This is it. Let's just take a look real quick. Okay, start of header, set file name. Okay, that makes sense. Encoding title. You can include a version. Ooh, I bet money that's being generated by the automake stuff. And then open PGP key, use assigned tarballs. Interesting. We're setting some variables that get used in the document in various places. Copyrights. Okay, it's cool. So that copying section, you're just throwing a bunch of copyright names in there. That's all the people who have updated this file. Am I in here? I don't think I'm in here yet. Probably not. I don't think I merged the thing that I was editing the manual for. Oh God. I just try to search the file and it wants to go over the entire thing. Are you finished? Are you finished? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, okay. It's not me. I'm not in there. Okay. So let's take a look. I'm just curious like how they've structured things here now that we kind of understand what we're looking at. So dir category, system administration, dir entry. So there's different sections. I want to see how that looks in the actual manual itself, because I don't know what that results in. Table of contents. Where's that text? System administration. Nowhere. Huh. Is that for geeks? Sorry, for info mode? Is this geeks? Okay, so if I were to go to info top node. No, that's Texinfo. Who's embedded GNU Ply output? That's Big Edie in here. Not too bad, but yeah. It is a little curvy. Thank you, Benoit, for sending a pull request. I'll try to merge that for sure. I can't actually show you me putting it in on the stream because it's on a different computer right at the moment. And if I touch that computer, the stream will die because of the worn out USB-C jacks. That whole story. I need to test it first? No. Clearly, I don't test any of this code that I'm running in production, in the literal stream production, because we found this issue. So why should I test anything? That's part of the fun. Running nodes, creating chapters. We saw that, right? Oh, tree structuring. Whoa. Back up. Manual is like an upside down tree. How poetic. A manual is a tree that's been cut into tiny little slivers, and then ink has been put on each of those slivers to provide information. Okay. Top, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, sections. Cool. I mean, that's kind of useful, I guess. Purposes of example. Here's how it would be written with explicit node pointers. Benoit says, what do I do in my lunch break? I code. Yeah, I can sympathize with that. Chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 1, top. Do you have to do that? Hold up. It doesn't seem like that's necessary though, right? Because we were talking about sections before, weren't we? No, it's just a node. First section, second section. I mean, somehow it knows that hierarchy. Okay, actually, maybe that's what this. I'm very confused. Section. It's a node, but it's also a section. So maybe the section is what makes the system know that it's not actually a real full top node. My brain is starting to lose its clarity at this point, looking at this documentation. All right, so apparently you can structure things like this. So you basically have to set the sort of the hierarchy of the nodes, chapter 2, chapter 1, chapter. I don't get it. Okay, I need to look at this node command because I'm not getting something. A node is a region of text that begins at a node command and continues until the next node command. Each node contains the discussion of one topic. Info readers display one node at a time and provide commands for the user to move to related nodes. Nodes are used as the targets of cross-references with xref. Emacs says, it looks like explicit breadcrumbs to me. You might be right about that. Normally, you put a node command immediately before each chapter structuring command. For example, section, subsection. You must do this even if you do not intend to format the file for info. Okay, writing a node. Node name. Ah, okay. So that's what this is for. Next, previous, up. So this little bar you see up here, it says next, up, etc. You explicitly have to put this stuff in to provide the navigation for a node to say what the next node is, what the previous node is, etc. That way, everything gets wired up correctly. Okay, it's optional, they say. However, if your Texinfo document is hierarchically organized, as virtually all are, we recommend leaving off all the pointers and letting make info determine them. So not necessary, especially if you have a hierarchical document format. They can figure it out themselves. Ashra says, next might skip something, which is why you usually use space to read a manual from start to end. Yeah, there's definitely some tricks to using info manuals. Pablo says, time for some more Sprite. Yeah, to wake up. Maybe a little bit. Who knows? Time to eat some dinner. Okay. Alternatively, you can use the next previous up pointers yourself. If you do this, you may find it useful to use the Texinfo mode keyboard command Control-C, Control-C in. This command inserts node and a comment line listing. Oh, okay. Let's check that out. So if I'm in the second section, Control-C, Control-C in. That didn't work. Okay. This is Texinfo insert node. Insert a string node in a Texinfo buffer. Insert a comment on the following line indicating the order of arguments to node. Oh, it doesn't do that though. Ashra says, time to drink ouzo mixed with espresso. I don't know if that's going to taste good. It's a little bit... do people do that? Ouzo is a little bit too licorice flavored to go with espresso, I think. That's going to be super bitter. Okay. Cool. We figured that out. Node names. Try to pick node names that are informative but short. They're capitalized the same way as section and chapter titles. Since they're using cross-references, it is not desirable to casually change them what's published. Yes, don't be doing casual things when you're editing a reference manual, because this is serious business. Ashraj, you never know. You might have created a new drink. It's going to be all the rage somewhere other than Greece. There are about 60 on YouTube, and there's some occasional chat messages, but I need that Twitch integration wired back up for that to work. And that is not working at the moment. Okay, node line requirements. I don't really care too much. First node, top command. We got through some of that. Node menu illustration, subordinate nodes. What is a menu? Menu, larger units of text. Oh, did we see that in the geeks thing? No, that's a category. Can you have more than one menu, I wonder? Okay, let's just get back. Cross-references, that's probably useful to look at. References, what cross-references are for. I mean, that's pretty obvious. You need to link between things in a file. Page reference. Was it anchor, it said? Anchors, see anchor to define cross-reference locations. Oh, okay. Xref. Ah, interesting. So you can anchor somewhere in a document and then create a cross-reference to this specific location. Ashra says, all those info things I've sent in older streams, they are eternal. They will work in 10 years. They will keep working after we both logged out for the last time. Info pages are indestructible. They are a force of nature. They are eternal. Well, it is nice that you can use the info function to just jump straight to a particular part of an info file. I've definitely used that a couple times to send people to somewhere. And I learned that from Ashraz, because Ashraz sent me info links in an early stream, and it was super helpful. And also, long ago on the Discord, Ashraz was, pulling out all the info links. I see. Well, I mean, there's a lot left we could look at. There's not a lot of time left to look at it. Let's just scan through and see if there's anything useful here. There's citations in case you want to cite books or papers, etc. URLs. Parenthetical cross-references. Referring to a manual as a whole. Okay, cool. So that xref is pretty versatile, it seems. It has multiple parameters you can set. Markup. I'm curious about the key. Specifying keys. Return. Cool. Ashra says, now I can just type auto mode A list and all fellow ERC users. I think Cersei users also can do that, because it just worked for me now that I'm looking at the live stream chat in IRC. Borussia says, Texinfo is very, very big, but LaTeX is huge. Yeah, LaTeX is huge. All right, so there's how you set key bindings, or you refer to key bindings. Variables, verbatim sequence of characters, indicating file names. There's a lot of, like I said, it's semantics. So basically you're saying, you're marking things up in the document, not by, this should be, a monospace text. What you're saying is, this is a file, this is an environment variable, this is a variable, a key sequence, a keyboard input, code, etc. So if you're writing info files, you should definitely look into using as many of these as you can, because probably the output will be better. I don't know why it keeps clicking on things. Ooh, even one for email addresses. I guess it makes it clicky. Okay, marking text. I think we got through that. Conditionals could be useful if you're trying to show some information only in a specific output type. The problem here is I'm using the mouse, which I shouldn't be doing. Tips. Write in the present tense. Okay. Now you're my English professor. Write actively. We recommend that, rather than it is recommended that. Okay, I kind of agree with that, but I tend to sometimes write it in the second form, for better or for worse. Write many index entries in different ways. Readers like indices. They're helpful and convenient. Yeah, that would be one of the main points of using Texinfo for this, because getting the indices written out is super useful for readers. Write index entries only where a topic is discussed significantly. For example, it's not useful to index debugging information in a chapter on reporting bugs. Tell me all those weasel words. Yes. I'm surprised they're not mentioning that already. Let's see. Insert a blank line before table. Complete phrases are easier to read than... what? Write entries in an itemized list as complete sentences, or at least as complete phrases. Incomplete expressions, awkward, like this. Okay. Write the prefatory. I've not heard that word before. Sentence or phrase for a multi-item list or table as a complete expression. Do not write you can set. Instead, write you can set these variables. Okay. Case is not here. Case has given up on us. I think that he's found better places to spend his time. He's probably just really busy. Let's see. Texinfo is a name. Don't write the X. Okay, yeah. So this is like a style guide, basically. This is not tips. This is a style guide. This is like the GNU hackers strunk in white. Elements of style. Elements of GNU style. DJ Cthulhu says, I could chat on IRC, but I'm watching on my tablet and it's a pain. Yeah, I can see how that'd be an issue. But, you know, having the live page should make it easier. I want to simplify that live page so that things are a bit closer together. So if people are on mobile, it's easier to use the IRC chat. Because, you know, it's nice to use YouTube or Twitch as a streaming platform because, you know, people can easily congregate there. But I would prefer for our chat to be in IRC because it's more flexible. But there's problems with doing that. Trev says he's a busy dad and has a new job or something. If he's watching, we miss you, ACDW. Yes, we miss Case. Case always likes to give me a hard time, which is good because I like joking. Cal says prefatory adjective serving as an introduction or preface. Okay, cool. And IRC is more libre. It definitely allows you to join however you like. Plus, if you want to use MPV or something else to watch the stream, it makes me wonder actually. The view count is not considering people who are using MPV to watch the stream. So probably there's more people watching than I think. It's just that I'm only seeing the viewer count based on the people who are using the app or on the website for YouTube. I need a better way to deal with that. Ashra says for the live page, Flexbox might help there. Yeah, definitely might help. I think it just needs to be a different layout to make this be a bit easier to manage. Fade says, what about Twitch? From what perspective? Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for picking one platform, but if I were to do that, it would be YouTube because most of the people who watch are on YouTube. And I have videos being posted on YouTube. Twitch is kind of dying. I feel like Twitch is not going to be around for much longer. Osloy says, how is LibreChat's web chat on iPad tablets? Might be good. Oh, do I see stats from Twitch? No, there's not really a way for me to do that. Now, the thing I will say about Twitch is that, not from MPV. Because if you're getting the stream directly, I don't know if they are able to count that. I don't know how it actually, it may like extract the actual stream information from the page and then access it directly. So they probably don't do viewer counting based on that. They're probably only doing it from the website itself. So viewing it on the website or in the app. That's my assumption, anyway. Trev says, if you want to be on Twitch, you better buy a blow-up hot tub. I think they've moved on from the hot tub meta. It's other stuff now. And I don't even want to go into detail on that. Ryan says, I'm not sure if it was me, but Twitch quality was worse than YouTube. Yeah. No. I'm not doing any hot tub Emacs stream. That's not for me. You don't want to see that. So, okay. As far as like Texinfo is concerned, the format is a little bit funny looking whenever you're writing it, but it does make sense. And if you've gotten used to it, I think it wouldn't be too bad. Especially if your document isn't quite as large and complex as the Geeks manual. So I'm probably going to spend some time writing things in this format just to get used to it and see if it would be useful. I mean, there's still a lot of value to writing org files and having them export to this format. We didn't really get to that, and I don't want to try to do it now, but Dave says, okay, I guess I'll have to. Not sure which one that was referring to. But it's a good program. It's a good format. It's just, you know, a little bit alien, a little bit foreign if you're used to things like Markdown or, oh no. Dave says, I guess I'll have to stream Emacs from a hot tub. That would be interesting. Probably your laptop would die before you got too far into it. Yeah, so org and Markdown are probably easier formats to write and read, but this is not too bad. I mean, once you kind of understand a little bit of the shape of it, it's not too bad. Cool. Well, let's see. What else do I want to say before we get out of here? I did do a little test stream earlier today. Speaking of Twitch, a little bit of video gaming. I was playing Call of Duty because I've been talking about Call of Duty a little bit in the IRC recently. If you want to see me, you know, just shoot a bunch of people in a video game, you can go look at the recording for that. But I might do a little bit more game streaming on that channel, Flux Harmonic Live. Whoa, what did I just do? That was the wrong screen. Come on, where are you? Where is my mouse? There it is. Anyway, gotta close that. I'll be doing a little bit more of that probably. I don't know, just for fun. Who knows? But if you're interested in seeing that, subscribe to Flux Harmonic Live channel on Twitch. I don't think I'll stream that to YouTube also because there's really no point. It's kind of ephemeral, you know. Hot tub Lisp machine, that could work. Trev says the COD stream was good, but I was working, so I couldn't full immerse in the explosions and screams. Yeah, there was a lot of explosions because the map is very small, and you just keep getting shot and shooting over and over again, which is great. Borussia says, use the keyboard. Yeah, I need to be using the keyboard, but some things aren't really optimized for that at the moment. Dave says, we need more Flux Harmonic. Yeah, I got some plans to get back into actual Flux Harmonic programming stuff soon. I don't know how soon, but I would like to start streaming, let's say 5 days a week, split between System Crafters and Flux Harmonic, and just do a variety of things. A lot of programming on System Crafters for, you know, projects that are related to this channel. You know, it's like the streaming stuff that we were, you know, talking about, joking about. I would probably hack on that on stream. Also, any Geeks configuration stuff, personal configuration, other tools that we might be interested in, or maybe go further in depth, trying to learn something like Texinfo, other things of that nature. And then for the Flux Harmonic side, I want to get back to a few of the projects that I had been working on, which are like scheme code for generating video thumbnails, scheme code for editing videos, for creating animations that can be put into a stream, game development, lots of stuff. So there's a lot of things for Flux Harmonic that I want to do. Alejandro says, don't get burnt out. No. I don't think I can get burnt out necessarily, because there are all things I want to be doing and I don't have time to do them, but I might have time soon to do them. So we'll see what happens with that. But the goal would be to stream more often. I don't know. Maybe I won't be able to do it 5 days a week, but it's an idea I have to do a little bit of both. So we'll see. If you have any thoughts on that, definitely let me know. Cool. Well, that was it for the day. I hope that was useful. It was definitely useful for me because I haven't really looked into the format of Texinfo very closely, but it's nice to see that it's pretty easy to generate outputs of different kinds. We haven't really gotten into how to customize those outputs, but I think that the manual goes through enough, the command line arguments go through enough that you can kind of see where you would go about customizing things. I will put the sample document that we worked on in the show notes, along with the other things that we wrote down in there so far, and you can take a look at those if you want to. And let me know in the comments if you have any other thoughts of things you want to see coming up soon. I know I have some suggestions I haven't gotten through yet, but I will get to those eventually. But anyway, thanks a lot, folks, for being here. Really appreciate your time and attention, and hope you all have a great weekend. Until next time, happy hacking. See ya.